when and why would you use a trowel for an epoxy floor?
That's a good one, Jake. But look, generally it's going to be dependent on the system. When you need to put a system down that's quite thick, sometimes the only way is to trowel that onto the floor.
Let's go back a step. What is a trowel, Sav?
So there's different types of trowels. I mean, you can get, it's almost like a flat bed of steel with a handle, essentially.
Concrete trowel,
Yeah, so you've got sort of, like I said, just a square trowel. You've got sort of trowels with rounded ends. You've got notch trowels, which can be handy in sort of putting proper thicknesses down. You've got stand-up trowels. You've got so many different options. So
A lot of trowels.
A lot of trowels. You want to?
A lot of trowels, a lot of floors.
Yeah, a lot of floors. But yeah, like I was sort of touching on before, like, yeah, it is dependent on the flooring system going down. Like, generally, you're not going to trowel down a roll coat. It's generally why it's called a roll coat. So, but yeah, a polyurethane cement is always a sort of troweled on system. So whether that be like a notch trowel or a stand-up trowel or
Gauge rake.
A gauge rake is another one, which is sort of a rake which has pins either side, which are set to a specific height, and it sort of pulls the material across the floor and puts it down at the correct thickness. So, Benny, I don't know if you want to elaborate any further. Or?
Yeah, we love a troweled floor, don't we? Yeah, it just means, for me, it means thickness. You know, it means usually if you're troweling a floor, you know, it's a product that's usually got some kind of filler that runs through it.
Yeah, it's a substantial product.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's a few mil. You know, when you roller apply a floor, it's you know, it's microns. We're not even talking mils. So trowel-applied floors are, you know, some of our favourite. They're definitely the more substantial kind of floors we install, premium quality floors. But yeah, you know, it gives you that thickness that you need, which gives you the durability, the longevity. You know. What about you, mate? You want to add to it?
Also used for like your mortar screeds.
Yeah,
smooth
mate,
them out. Give you a nice smooth finish, ready for your top coats, base coats.
Yeah, help you shape the mortar as well to sort of what you need to do.
Smooth.
What's an epoxy mortar screed then? We've got millions of viewers out there, mate. They're asking that question.
It's an A and B resin.
Everybody wants to know what's an epoxy resin screed.
Yeah, it's a resin and a hardener mixed to we normally use a 1.5 litre to 9 litres of sand. Gives you a nice consistent mix that once applied to a screed or a splay, it goes rock hard and gives you that fall to your drains or fall away from a low point.
Stronger than concrete.
Goes stronger than concrete. Higher MPa. Yeah, I mean, going on from that, epoxy mortar screeds, we love them, don't we, under our flooring systems?
Yes,
you know, they're far superior to, say, you know, you get traditional screeds like your sand and cement-based screeds, engineered screeds, you know, they just... You know, if any sort of water hits that stuff, they just dissolve. They you know, they're no good for what we do. So epoxy mortar screeds, you know, it's just resin flooded through the sand. They're strong as hell, you know. So, but I mean, yeah, leading on from that, do you want to maybe talk about, you know, graded floors? You know, falls to drains. What are they like? What's all that about? You know, and how does a epoxy mortar screed? You know.
Yeah, of course. So look, in some instances, you know, as part of our job, we need to, splay falls to drains. Like we might have a strip drain in the middle of an abattoir, and we need to encourage the water when they wash it down to go towards the drain. Now, that's not going to do it on a totally flat floor. It's not going to move anywhere. So we need to make sure that the area that furthest away from the drain is higher than the drain. You know, it seems pretty logical, but
it's a good way of explaining it, mate. Literally,
it's puddling.
It's ramped grade, isn't it? Sort of thing. You know, but this is a big OH&S issue. You know, you mentioned abattoirs, food production. You know, if inspectors go in, you know, food standards go in and they see water that's stagnant, it's just sitting. It harbours bacteria, you know, listeria, things like that, and they just won't stand for it. So all that water needs to flow to the drain, and that's an epoxy mortar screed that does that.
Spot on.
Yeah, so look, if you guys have any further questions you want to ask us, or if you have any projects you'd like us to look at for you, feel free to send us an email, info@safecoatflooring.com.au, or give us a call, 1800 231 907. Thanks.